Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 8 of What If Naruto Was an Alien Hybrid. Remember to give this one to 100 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode over on Anime King 3 of What If Naruto Was a Perfect Experiment. And remember to get that to 100 like as usual. And also guys, stay tuned for a brand new episode coming over Anime King 2. And yes, if you're new, you heard that correctly. I indeed have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if fun every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as Naruto needed for Mikoto and his mother to wake up out of the coma, so he made his way. As he went to talk with Snetty, as she saw him, as the aura coming from Naruto was affecting both women, as he told them where to meet up with him. Afterwards, Jiraiya had came in unknown that Naruto was here, but Snetty told him that she had to do something first, and that was to meet up with Naruto. Unknown to all of them, Orochimaru had set things in motion, as he had some of the same thing, for Sasuke to inherit it, for Sasuke to become a being like Naruto as well. But would it go the same? No one knew, as Kabuto had put things in motion so that Sasuke could come here, as Sasuke wanted to grow stronger, as Leaf seemed to be holding him back. Meanwhile, as Jiraiya waited, but Snetty met up with Naruto. As unknown to Jiraiya, Naruto infected them. Things escalated, and she had 3 kids, Shizune as well. Jiraiya arrived to see that as he was surprised, shocked to what he had saw, as he saw that Naruto had infected them and turned them into these things, as he pleaded with them, but Snetty was against this. The voice in Naruto's head refused to make him go back to Konoha. They had things to do, and this was just weighing them down. So he refused, as Jiraiya was pissed off as he tried to attack, but he was subdued, and with that they left him. Earlier, Naruto had faced off against Itachi and Kisame, as they come to find out that Naruto was a lot stronger than they thought, given the fact that he was able to make Samehata cower down, because of the mere presence that came from him. At Konoha, everyone was still shocked about the events that took place. Neji had been put in charge, yes, he was being groomed to become the next clan head. Seeing that most of the elders were dead and Hayashi was gone, and with his strength, he was going to be placed in charge. And he would have revenge for his clan. Hinata had betrayed them and slaughtered most members of their clan to get to the elders. As Naruto family was extending and growing, when Jiraiya came back to Konoha 4 days later, Hiruzen was dead. The poison from the Kusanagi had killed him, and Snetty had refused to come back, as Jiraiya was the only one left. As he had to take the mantle, in his eyes he saw Naruto as a very monster that he was turning people into, and if this continued, the world would be at risk. He had to stop it. They had to be stopped. When Naruto got back, as he introduced Snetty and others to the rest of the family, as the builders and everyone was there was help building Uso back to its feet. It didn't take too long, with the help of Snetty and Shizune. Mikoto and Kushina was back. As Kushina woke up, she saw Mikoto, as her mind was a bit fuzzy on the events that happened. As the door opened up, as both women turned to see the person that entered. So yeah guys, that's basically that's what I thought. You guys can switch across the place, check it out for yourself. So what used to begin this new episode. Kushina Uzumaki was staring at a blonde man that she thought was dead. But it was not Minato as she thought. The whiskers. But suddenly she realized who he was. Was it son? Is that you? She said, hoping that this wasn't some sort of genjutsu. Mikoto was shocked. At first she thought that it was Minato, but the whisker marks threw her off. That was her son? It is me, mother, said Naruto. The both of them gasped in shock. Coming. How long has it been? You're an adult. Well, I kinda had a growth spurt. But that is a long story to explain, said Naruto. Go on ahead, she said. I want to hear all about my baby boy. I know that Jerry was supposed to take care of you when I was supposedly dead. I hope he hasn't turned you into a pervert or something like that. She said with a dry chuckle. As Naruto's expression dimmed a bit at the mention of his godfather, as Mikoto noticed the look, no one has taken care of me, mother. Not even him, said Naruto. She was shocked. What? She yelled. They named him Naruto's godfather in case anything were to happen to both of them. And here was her son telling her that he hasn't been there. That no one was there? What about the third? Or Kakashi? I've been alone for most of my life. Hated, abused, treated like a criminal for even existing. Like a disease that plagued the village. Call a demon or monster, said Naruto, as he was telling her everything. As Kushina wondered if her ears worked correctly. As the more her son talked, the more angry she got. Her son was abused? Abused? Mistreated? He was a Jinjulki and the village knew. She knew there would be some glares, or harsh words, but there was many people to look after him, to keep him safe, to protect him, and yet there was no one. And she wasn't there. She started to cry. Son, I'm so sorry, she said, that we placed this burden on you. I told Minato the villagers would never accept you, even if you had the Kyuubi inside of you to save the village. I told him to reseal it inside of me. But the threat of me not being able to handle it, and he put his trust into the villagers. I'm so sorry, she said. I never wanted to go through this kind of life, and I wasn't there to protect you and look after you. As Mikoto sat there, she felt sorry for the both of them. As Naruto stepped forward, Mom, I don't blame you or Dad. You did what you thought that was right. I may not have the best life in the village, but now, a better life has come to be. She wiped away her tears as she was relieved that he doesn't blame her or his father. But she was curious. A better life? What do you mean? She said. I met two twin, blonde girls who changed my life for the better. Who are they? She said, as she wanted to meet these two girls that he mentioned, if they were able to make her son happy despite everything he's been through. She wanted to meet them and thank them. Their names Sel and Eve, said Naruto. As Naruto started telling her the story about what happened, and how he met them, and how they became a genuine team under Uncle Arashi, who was their sensei. Then he started to speak about his change and mutation. What mutation? How did you get it in the first place? Asked Kushina. It all started when I fell in Orochimaru's lab. I fell in this black reddish goo that was on the ground. Some of it, or maybe all of it, went inside of me. I was practically covered in it. And it changed me into something else. Something different. What is it? She said. I want to see it. Are you sure about that? Said Naruto. Kushina nodded. It doesn't matter what he looked like, or what he has become. He was her son. Mikoto was still surprised as he was trying to understand and wrap her head around all of this as she was hearing right now. As Naruto started to change right in front of their eyes into his inner alien that caught both of them off guard. Both of them were shocked as he reverted to his true alien form. But he then returned back to normal. That is what I am. I have the ability to infect and turn women into the same species as me. Once you're bitten by me, you are marked and infected and you turn. There is no reverse to it. You are like that for the rest of your life. As Naruto started to fill them in about the biology of what will happen, the semi-immortality, that they will be stuck in their mid-20s, and they won't age anymore after that. Eternal youth, the speed, the agility, the strength, the intelligence, and more important, killer instinct or predator instinct. Both women were still shocked at what he just explained to them, about him being an alien from the stars. Despite that though, Kushina looked towards him as her son, as she still loved him as her son. After everything he's been through, I plan on infecting you, mother. I want you to live a longer life, and for your grandchildren to see their grandmother. I am not going to pressure you to be infected. If you don't want that, I can understand. I'll give you some time to think about your decision, he said to her. As Kushina was in deep thought as she heard that, she realized once bitten, she would return, and she would be marked by her own son. She'll be able to live longer, to see her grandchildren grow up after what he's told her. But once infected, would that change her? Would that change the way she looked at him? No. He was her son. I'll think about it, she said. Meanwhile for Mikoto, she was having different thoughts. She was alive and she was now free. Fukaku was dead. It wasn't like the man was anything warm or nice to her. He was the reason why this happened. He was the one that went along with this, and she could not go against him, and that led to their downfall by their own son, who had to massacre the clan. She wanted no part of the coup, and she never agreed to it. It must be heartbreaking to think how Sasuke was feeling and thinking by now, as Itachi probably left the village a long time ago. If anything else, mother, I'll let the both of you rest, said Naruto, as he turned to leave. Once he was outside, how did it go, said Eve. It went well. I'm gonna let her make a decision, said Naruto. And what of Mikoto? Asked Eve. I shouldn't have to pressure her. My mom will convince her to join. And if not, I can be very persuasive, said Naruto, as he walked off with Eve following after him. Meanwhile, at Konoha, it was not a good day for Jiraiya, as he was currently the 5th Hokage of Konoha, as he was greeted by a very pissed off Asuma. What the hell do you mean I cannot go after her and kill that son of a bitch that took her? Asuma was furious with rage after he learned what happened to Kunai, as he wanted Naruto dead. If things weren't bad enough, he just lost his father, and now he heard what happened to his supposed girlfriend. He was furious. Jiraiya sighed as he looked down. You can't go, Asuma, he said. I need you here, it's too risky. And you have to face the facts. She's gone. Once he turned them, they're gone completely, and they will never be the same ever again, said Jiraiya, as he remembered how Tsunade acted, as he clenched his fists. You don't know that. I know her better than you. There's no way she would ever stay with that monster, Asuma said in anger, his hatred for Naruto just increasing even more. Asuma, you and I both know that Kunai is long gone. He's not forcefully keeping them there. They want to be with him. She's not the Kunai that you once knew. She's now a different being entirely. No longer the woman that you once knew. She's now a... Don't you dare finish that sentence, Asuma said. She isn't truly gone. I'll be damned if I let a boy who's stuck in a man's body take her away from me. I said it's too late, said Jiraiya. She has already been mated with Naruto, and perhaps already bore his spawn. After what I saw, I'm telling you, it's already late. Don't give me that. We both want the same thing, Jiraiya, and it is to kill that woman, stealing son of a bitch. I won't accept this. Not as how easy that you accepted that you lost. So, Asuma was cut off as Jiraiya gave him a glare that was intensified with the rage and killing intent of the Sannin. Don't mention her name. As Jiraiya was still pissed off, she could have come back and saved Sarutobi, but she did not. The man was angry, but he was trying to keep himself calm. Do you understand me, said Jiraiya, as the rage in his voice was prominent, as he hadn't forgotten what she did. Not to mention with Naruto, she was not the Tsunade that he knew anymore. Talk about acceptance. Well, you're sure not taking it well, Asuma said. Get out of here, Asuma. And I warn you, if I catch word that you leave this village and go after them, you won't like what I'll do next. Asuma moved off in rage as he huffed. Jiraiya sighed as he leaned back in his desk. Things were getting heated, as Naruto was bearing more and more offsprings, and soon enough things would extend beyond just Uzo. If things spread too far, he will have to alert the other villages. Having Naruto offspring spread in different countries, they might end up taking the entire elemental nation to the way they respond quickly. But with the state of Konoha military strength right now, that option will have to wait. They had to rebuild first. They had to get Konoha back to normal first. Time skip. 2 days later, as Naruto sat in the Uzukage Tower, as he was an Uzukage after all, the tower itself and buildings were still under some construction by Tezuna's men, as Naruto was thinking about spreading his influence over the world, as his eyes were closed as he sat in the chair, as visions started to flood into his mind, as he saw a beautiful woman with brunette red hair, green eyes, curvaceous body, perfect to become one of his species. As Naruto watched her, she was in charge of an army of rebels, as they were facing off against the Fort Mizukage. She seemed perfect to be turned and brought into the fold. As he slowly opened his eyes, "I think it's time we take a trip to Kiri," he said with a smile. A few minutes later, him and his family were discussing the issue. Tsunade was not there, she was tending to Kushina and Mikoto. "So, who's going with me to Kiri?" said Naruto. Still, Eve, Anko, and Hinata raised their hands, as Haku raised her hand. "May we come, father?" Maizuri asked, with her brother Sabusa beside her, and her sisters Moduko and Saiko. "I'm afraid it's too dangerous for you guys to come. You're still in training with your stepmothers and me." As they frowned, "Come on, Dad. We may be still in training, but we can be of some help," said Sabusa. "I say let them come with us, Naruto-kun. It won't hurt. Besides, with Kiri being under a civil war at the moment, to show them what they're to expect out there in the real world. And we will be hidden under the cover of the mists and away from their battles." As Naruto sighed, "Alright, just this once, but once you return, you go back into training." As the kids cheer in happiness at that. "Say, what about your little sister, Hinata?" asked Ino. "Hanabi is currently unavailable. She's in the process," Hinata answered, as her daughter Himawari smiled, knowing that her aunt would now be a part of the family fully. 2 days ago, as Naruto had bitten Hanabi and turned her into one of them, as she was now in a cocoon, changing, and now the group would head to Kiri, so they can spread their influence, gaining another woman into the fold. Time skip. 2 days later, Mei Terumi and some forces of her rebellions are looking towards the village. The place was heavily guarded, as there was envoys everywhere. "What do you see, Ao?" said Mei, as Ao had his Byakugan activated. "There's about a whole platoon of envoys guarding the gates. Jonin's also there as side security." "What about Yagura? Is he amongst the platoon?" she asks. "No, ma'am, he is not. He must be within the tower. We have to think of a way. We have to get in there and face Yagura to end this once and for all. If only we had help from the inside." Things were getting worse, and more things dragged on. The more her and her group were suffering, they had to end this. "Maybe me and a few of our best men can sneak in there and try to lure the platoon away, for the rest of you guys to launch a surprise attack against Yagura, Mei-sama." "No, that's too risky. Yagura might see through our attack and have something in plan already in case we do that. They did that before, on a smaller scale though, and they lost many good men, and they were forced to retreat. And the way things were going now, they didn't have much time left, and they would lose everything." Before they could say anything else, the place started to shake. They looked around confused. "What the hell was that?" one of the rebels said. "You think they spotted us?" one of the other rebels said. "Relax, everyone. I don't think they saw us. If they would have attacked." "Ao, where's that coming from?" As Ao started to scan, as his eyes fell all over the place, looking for the source, he saw trees rustles, as he saw a faint, glowing red eye over towards the bushes. "What the hell? What is it? What do you see?" said me. "I'm not sure." As he could not fully see what the thing is, even with his Byakugan, it was a bit distorted. It's huge, big. As he saw unusual chakra signatures of the giant beast, there was people there as well. It's 10 of them. 6 adults and 4 children. They all have unusual chakra. Their chakra was cast in this mist mirage that even affected his Byakugan that he could not see them clearly. As he focused more chakra to the Byakugan, as me frowned, what were 6 adults and 4 children doing here, especially in the middle of a war? Could they be allies for Yagura, said Kotaro, or backup? We don't know for sure, but it's not like Yagura to call for help in the village, and the country is locked down because of the bloodline purge. This made no sense, me thought. Mei-sama, they're on the move. "They're heading towards the north entrance of the village," said Ayo. "Keep on them, Ayo. I want to know exactly what they're doing here." Meanwhile, with Naruto and his family, Hinata had her beacon activated as she scanned through the entire village. There are multiple platoons in Naruto-kun, dozens of Kiri envoys, and squadrons of Jonin. "What about the Mizukage himself?" said Naruto. "He is within his tower just sitting down. It is being guarded by platoons of Jonins and envoys." "How are we doing this?" asked Hill. "You guys attack the Mizukage forces, I'll go after him myself," said Naruto. As his skin started to shift into his inner alien, the women's all transformed their inner alien. The kids could not transform, but they had a long, spiky tongue. It was because they were too young. They hadn't fully matured yet. As Haku's inner alien was like frost. There was ice, mist leaking from her. Her claws were blue and long. Her eyes were blue and slitted. Her hair was nothing but ice, and she was rather cold. She was basically an ice-like entity. As she stepped the ground, freeze over a bit. As they moved towards the gate, her son Zabuza pulled out a scroll as he unsealed the executioner blade. Naruto saw fit that his son should keep the sword, since he no longer needed it. He did some training with a heavy sword. Despite his small stature, he could wield it very well. And he also learned several water-style jutsu as well. Maizuri had ice claws like her mother Haku. Saiko brought it onto, as she learned kinjutsu from her mother, Yujeu. Mitoko brought her bow with kunai-tip arrows, as she fired 3 of them towards the envoys that were guarding the gate. The 3 in front of them were taken down with ease. As the captain looked down, what the hell? As that was a mistake, the next thing he felt was his guts sliding out of him as Naruto moved past, tearing the man in pieces. As Seal and Eve shot forward as they slaughtered any Kiri shinobis that got in their path. Hinata was moving like a swift beast. One strike from her Jayugen to the chest shut down all internal organs of one of the Jonins, dismembering them as their bodies broke down. A lethal strike to their face shattered their head completely. "We need backup! We must alert the Mizukage and the rest!" shouted one of the Kiri Jonins, as an arrow burst right through his throat, as he gurgled in his own blood and died. Saiko and Zabuza made quick work of the Jonins who tried to attack them with their blades. They underestimated the kids, not knowing that they were so fast and strong, as the giant blade was cleaving through Jonins after Jonins. Maizuru with her ice claws ripped through Jonins. As Haku opened her mouth, a mist emerged. They screamed as their body was encased in ice as she shattered them. She then closed her hands around herself as ice spikes came from her back and shot in all directions, impaling Jonins and envoys. As Anko hair that was made up of snake launched in all different directions, biting and tearing through throats, impaling and injecting poisonous venom that caused them to gurgle in their own blood as their bodies turned blue and purple as they died. As she turned to meet eyes to eyes with a Jonin, as the man froze, as the snakes hissed, looking at him, the man was petrified into stone. One of the other captains of the Jonins was trying to call as the man quickly made his way, but his head was removed. The last thing he saw was the pavement as his head crashed down on it, as Naruto moved like a beast, tearing his way towards the tower. Meanwhile, with Mei and the rebels, Mei and the others were beyond shock as they heard what was going on. As they heard the blood-curdling screams, "Ayo, what's going on down there?" she said. As Ayo stood there in complete shock as he watched the massacre unfold in front of him. Those strangers, they're killing all of the envoys and Jonins in brutal ways. They can't be stopped. He hoped to calm whoever these people are. They were not coming after them as well, as he wasn't so sure that they could stop them. They were brutal. They were not hesitating one bit. The north gate is completely clear. Mei was shocked. What? Impossible. How could 10 strangers decimate a platoon like that? You said 6 adults and 4 children, right? How was that even possible? As she knew that there were some strong individuals in this world, but for them to just decimate those forces without them even putting up a good fight, as Kojiro couldn't believe it. It was then that Zabuza created the mist. His mist was so thick that the Byakugan could not penetrate it. Meanwhile, with Naruto, countless bodies were littering the place. Yagura had enough. He emerged. Hearing the massacre that was taking place outside, he emerged to decimate whatever forces were here. To end this once and for all. There was 2 platoons of Andus behind him. Yagura was pissed off as he looked down towards his men, all of them that were massacred. He turned his sights up towards a creature with red eyes, with dreadlocks for hair. As Naruto noticed Yagura, as Naruto's body returned back to normal. So, you are the monsters that has killed a good portion of my army. You are just like those freaks with bloodline. You deserve to be put down like animals, Yagura said as he gripped his staff. His eyes shifting, red. It seems you're a Jinjulki like I once was. I would wish not to kill you, said Naruto. You and all of your abominations will be killed, said Yagura. After what you've done, none of you are leaving here alive. As Naruto noticed there was this hazy look in his eyes. It seems like he was under some sort of genjutsu. But what genjutsu would be powerful enough to hold him? And Uchiha. As Naruto had to get a look in his mind to find out what was going on. As Naruto's claws emerged as he flexed them. As both men moved, clash! Staff and claws clashed against each other, sending sparks everywhere, showing how dense Naruto's claws were. Both of them exchanged blows as they clashed, crashing their staff and claws together. Yagura then sent Coral towards Naruto to capture him, as Naruto dodged all of his attacks, as he twists and swings his staff with incredible strength. As Naruto reached up and caught it, boom! The ground cracked under Naruto's feet, showing the amount of power that Yagura put behind it, as Naruto yanked it out of the man's grip. With a brutal spinning kick to his gut, Yagura was sent sailing. As Naruto's Sharingan sprang to life, Yagura got up. Are you Uchiha? He said, as he looked at the blonde in front of him. No, just a fake one with good eyes. Now sleep. As the eyes started to spin, and Yagura fell, out cold. Moving towards the man, Naruto touched him on the forehead, as he dived into his memories. As Naruto saw a hooded Uchiha with a mask, placed Yagura under a genjutsu. He was the one planting the thoughts in Yagura's head to wipe out anyone in that special bloodline, saying that it would challenge his rule. Over time it got worse, till he started the bloodline purge. So that Uchiha was behind this. He could also be the one that manipulated Ari to attack Konoha, as the Kiri shinobis that were standing there could not interfere, seeing that Naruto's family was standing in front of him. As they realized that Yagura was out cold, what could they do after seeing their leader taken down so easily? They lost to 10 individuals, and they were fighting this war for a very long time against so much rebels. How the hell were they so strong? His wives reverted back to their normal forms as they turned towards the enemy. It's over. This war is done. As Mei and the rebellions arrive, looking in complete shock, as Mei eyes up towards the down Yagura, as she then saw the man lift himself up. He was tall, strapping, his body flexing with muscles. He was hot. As Mei looked towards him, and there was this aroma coming from him that seemed to attack her in all ways, sense his mind. The way she saw him, there was this aroma leaking from him, as he was looking back at her, looking deep in her eyes, without even breaking eye contact. As Naruto smiled, "And you are," he said. "My name is Mei Kirumi." "Who are you?" she said. "Naruto." "Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze," he said to her. Later on that night, the war was over, and Naruto and his family had come in peace. They helped them. The rebellion was over. Kiri was free. Yagura was defeated. As Naruto and his family decided to stay in Kiri for a few days before returning home, he came here for one sole purpose though, and that was to bring Mei Kirumi into the fold. By doing so, him and her can form an alliance, since she would become the 5th Mizukage and he was already Uzukage. Infecting her and marking her was already technically like marriage at this point. Once he does that, their alliance and bond will strengthen even more. She of course couldn't keep her eyes off him. With a bit of pheromone, he saw that her lust for him had increased. He did not kill Yagura, as he gave him a chance by letting him live. In the future, his kids would go out as well, and one of his daughters perhaps could form a bond with Yagura in the future. The man had suffered as well, as it wasn't his fault he was being manipulated by that masked man, someone that Naruto really wanted to find. and kill. More than just kill, he wanted to rip him to pieces, torture and make him suffer. At the moment though he was with the future Mizukage. I take it that you're from Konoha, she said. It was my home, said Naruto. Now Uza is my home. Since I became the Uzukage, I'm officially reviving my village and my clan. I see where this goes, she said. You wish for alliance. After all that you've done for us, I would gladly accept your alliance. But bonds have to remain strong, you know, she said. As Naruto raised eyebrow, and how do we do that, he asked, knowing what she had in store. Well, it can be strengthened with a marriage proposal, she said. Well, that can easily be arranged, said Naruto. As Mei had a smile on her face. She didn't know what it was about him, but the intoxicating aroma was just so much. As she felt her entire body feeling like it was going through this urge, this feeling of accepting him. She didn't know what it was, but it was just so much enticing, wonderful, as it brought her to the edge and brought her back. It was amazing. Just by a single glance, he made her quiver. She couldn't hesitate anymore. She couldn't hold it back anymore. She leaned in, as Naruto gripped her firmly, surprising her. But she leaned into his touch as their lips met. As they kissed, as Naruto transmitted the virus into her, Mei jolted as she felt her eyes, her molecules, everything about her rearranged. As he removed his lips off of hers, as he bit her in the neck. Once she was bitten, she saw herself as a creature of immense power with lava surrounding her very core. As she saw Naruto as her alpha, her mind was telling her to breathe with her alpha, to bring forth a wonderful baby. As she drifted off to sleep in his hands, her body being changed. As Hinata arrived to see, Naruto holding Mei in his arms. I will be taking her somewhere private. Tell her loyalists that she will be unavailable. Hinata nodded as she went off to inform the others. As soon as he brought her somewhere private, she started to change as she went into the cocoon state. Back at Konoha, Jiraiya was currently filling out paperwork, something that he more than hated. He wanted to be out there, free, doing his research, but at the time, he could not. Konoha needed him. He received word from the land of Wave, who tore up their alliance. As Jiraiya was mad, they joined alliance with someone else. And Jiraiya had a feeling who it was, Uza, and it was Naruto. As Naruto was helping with the rebuildment of Wave as well. As both of their lands were nearby the sea. He probably already infected most of the people there, Jiraiya wondered, for them to quickly sign over and accepted him that quickly. As he read the report on the Wave mission that Naruto went on, there was a great Naruto bridge. The people were already indebted to him for saving them. He had to keep Konoha strong. He believed that he should call a meeting between the 5 Kages. So far, Naruto has already gone on to one village already. Soon enough, he would spread and infect even more. As Naruto was already reviving the Uzumakis by spreading and breathing so much, and the way the kids were birthed quickly, it wouldn't take too long until this world was full of them. And the way things were going, he would have to stop Naruto, and that meant killing him to stop him from reviving his clan, along with his many mates, because he knew they won't just stand down after their alpha was killed. He even have to kill Tsunade as well. It hurt him so deep to have to do something like this. But what choice did he have? That's not the same woman that he once knew. 3 days later, Kiri. The cocoon started to rip open as she fell out of it, completely nude. In her late 20s, as her body was plump, her hair remained the same. A lustful smile came in her face as she saw him sitting there. Naruto-kun, she said, as he could feel it. The lust was basically dripping from her, as he brought a smile to his face, as she would now be a part of the fold. Time skip. Mei had a baby boy in her arms. He's so cute. He is my hair and your face, Naruto-kun. What do we call him, she said, as she was already adoring her newborn baby boy. Sakazuki Uzumaki will be his name, said Naruto. Time skip. A few hours later. Where's Mei-sama? Come to think of it, she's been gone for 3 days. And where's that Naruto guy as well? It's strange with him not being here with his woman and children, said Ayu. Still, Eve, Anko and Hinata were aware of everything going on because of the mind telepathy. We're back. As everyone turned as Mei was holding a baby in her arms. Zabuza, Saiko, Moduko, and Miser smiled. They had a new sibling. As the girls all nodded to Mei. Welcome to the family, Mei-san, said Sil, telepathically. As Mei smiled to the woman. As she turned towards her two right-hand men. Gentlemen, from this day forward we're aligning ourselves with Uzo. Which is my first command, as Mizukage said Mei. Mei-sama, where did the baby come from? Asked Ayo. As he was confused by the way she was treating the baby like it was hers. He's mine, said Mei. As Ayo was confused. Oh, what do you mean, yours? Yes, he's mine. Me and my husband, she said. But that's impossible. Nothing can happen so fast. I mean, Ayo didn't understand what was Ayo. Shut up. I'll kill you, she said. Her tone was sweet. As Ayo gulped. So I take it you're heading back to your home, Mei said, with a sad pout as she wished he could stay here with her. I must. There are things that has to be done, said Naruto as she came to him. Hopefully I'll try to visit and bring your son. He'd want to meet his father and siblings. As she gave him a kiss. I'm looking forward to it already. And with that they separated as he was joined by Yagura. After the genjutsu was broken, the man was lost. As Naruto gave him a new chance of life, to come with him and live at Osu with him. After all, he could not stay there. After what he did, after what he put his village through. As Mei smiled down towards her new baby boy. Meanwhile, at Osu, in Hanabi's room. As the cocoon broke open, she was the same age as Hinata. As her body type seemed to fill out just as perfect. Her hair was a bit longer though. As she looked at her body and herself, all she could think about was her alpha and bringing new life to this world. As she glanced over to see clothing that was left here for her. Elsewhere. So he stopped. The bloodline person freed the Mizukage. A masked man said, as he glanced towards Zetsu. Yes, he somehow defeated the fort. But he did not kill him, he's bringing him to Uzo. White Zetsu said as Madara frowned behind his mask. I see. Have you informed Pain and the rest of the Akatsuki about this situation? He asked. Zetsu shook his head. Do so then, inform them, said Madara. As he wished, said Black Zetsu as they went down the ground, leaving Madara to his thoughts. At this rate, the Three Tails is out of our reach. But it will be safely kept in Uzo. But when time comes, all of them will be ours. He was a bit irritated. How did the Kyuubi Jinchuriki figure out the secret behind the bloodline purge? And how did he free Yagura? If he got in his way, when the 3 years are over, by the time then they will be prepared. Well, he wouldn't like it one bit. He has a lot of people that he care about. Time skip. As it took a couple of days, as they returned, Hinata was happy as her sister and her can finally be a family again. Welcome to the family, Hanabi, said Naruto, as Hanabi was all smiles. How was your trip to Osu, Naruto-kun? Asked Natty. It was great. We made an alliance with Kiri. Now we will focus on managing our village, said Naruto. Your mother is waiting for you, said Natty. Asked Naruto nodded as he made his way, to see what her decision will be. So, how did you guys enjoy your first mission, said Shanks, as he looked towards the siblings. It was awesome. We kicked ass, said Zabuza. When will we get action? Inuyasha asked, with a frown on his face, as Yagura looked towards the big happy family. It was a bit strange, but Uzo was peaceful. Maybe he could get a hut by the beach and spend the rest of his days there. Time skip. The hospital was almost finished by Tetsuna's man, as that is where the both of them resided. Son, you're back, said Kushina. Yes, I've returned from Kiri and made a new alliance with Mizukage after helping her defeat the fort. Plus, you have a grandson, as he explained to her that him and the Mizukage created a bond of marriage so that they could strengthen the alliance. As he had already told her about everything, that they had babies rather quickly to spread their influence. So, how are you doing since I was gone, said Naruto. Good, I'm getting better now. Same with Mikoto, she said. Have you come with a decision, said Naruto. Son, I respectively declined, she said. I wish to be who I am, she said. But know this, I will always support you. And what you're doing for the clan. Besides, I can't wait to see all the grandchildren and the many wives that you have. As Naruto smiled, okay, he said. I'll respect that. As he moved towards her and he hugged her. He just wanted her to be a part of his life. Mikoto, on the other hand, her thoughts were different. As she glanced towards Naruto as he left. She did not voice any of her thoughts though, but Kushina saw the look that her friend was giving her son. Time skip, as there was a knock on his door, as Naruto opened it. "I take it that you're ready, Hanabi," he said, as she stood there, as he already set up soundproof seals in the bedroom, as he already knew what was going to go on. As she untied the obi, revealing everything underneath. She's been waiting for this the moment he got back, but she had to hold off for some time since that he was greeting others. But now, all she wanted to do was to be with him. Some time later, she had a baby girl, which she named after her mother Hitomi, as she was now a part of the fold, a part of the family. Hinata came in afterwards, as she lay with him as well, as they end up having another kid, as she named him Hisashi after her uncle. As Naruto's smile, his family was extending and growing. Time skip. "You have a mission for Team 7 and Team 10, said Kakashi as Jiraiya nodded. "Yes, that's right. You and Team 10 are assigned to watch over the movie crew and their actress, Yuki Fujikage." Kakashi looked a bit concerned. "Jiraiya-sama, are you sure that it's wise to allow Asuma on this mission?" Asuma hasn't been himself one bit since he learned about what happened to Kurenai, as he was hitting the bars a lot. He had lost his father, and not to mention he lost Kurenai, so it was really hitting him hard. He would lash out and curse Naruto's name. He was hell-bent on killing Naruto, and he told everyone this. He was gonna find him and cut him to pieces himself. The anger was blinding him into absolute rage. And Asuma also spoke with Inuichi and told him that perhaps Ino was also taken by that monster. And no, Inuichi was also violent about it as well, as he wanted to know if his daughter was truly with Naruto. Once again he had hope, because at first he believed that his daughter was killed, or perhaps taken by one of his own ninjas. But if she was truly with him, he wanted his daughter back. Asuma needs some time out of the village to get his mind and priorities straight, said Jiraiya. Kakashi wasn't too convinced. With all due respect, Jiraiya-sama, Asuma is going to the deep end. He's hell-bent on wanting to go after Naruto and get Kurenai back. And with Naruto being able to take down Orochimaru and Danzo, and his route as well, there's a possibility that he might be a flight risk on this mission. As the man was getting worse, he, Guy, Tenzo, and Genma was seeing that. A lot of people were angry. It was not just him though. They lost a lot of good Kunoichi, Yujiro, Anko, Hana, Kasume, Ino, Hinata, Hanabi, Tsunade, Shizune, and Kurenai, all of them infected. And they were now a part of Naruto's clan. I understand your concerns, Kakashi, but Asuma need to learn to let her go. I've seen firsthand what his infection does to them. They're not themselves anymore. They're a completely different person. I know it's painful, but when time comes, you'll have to forget her. Because if Naruto gave her the order to kill him, she will not hesitate. So he and his team will go with you on this mission. Am I understood? As Kakashi nodded. Meanwhile, with Asuma, as there was a photo of Naruto on the wall, as he threw his trench knife as it split right through Naruto's skull. "You woman-stealing son of a bitch. How dare you take her when she wasn't even yours? Not even that, you took Tsunade as well, when she could have come here to heal my father." As the man clenched his fist in rage. "You thought it was okay to just steal her from me like that?" His house was a mess as he went on a rampage, destroying things around. If she was here, perhaps she could calm him down. Perhaps she could be here for him, help him mourn about his father. But with the state that he was in, he was not getting better. He was actually getting worse. "Damn you, Naruto, if I ever see you, if you ever soil her and make her raise your bastard children, I'll kill you," Asuma said. He doesn't give a damn what Jiraiya says. Jiraiya doesn't have it in him to get Tsunade back. He was not going to let Naruto take Kurenai as his whore. They were supposed to grow old together, have children, but that dream was shattered when Naruto took her on the invasion day and was doing come know what to her. He didn't even want to think about that. It just got him more and more angry. The one piece of hope that he had was that she was still herself, and she was thinking about ways to come to him, trying to find a way to escape, but he was keeping her captive. Meanwhile, as Naruto was in the tower after introducing the two members that now joined their family, as he was seeing a woman, a black-haired woman, an actress. He knew exactly who she was. He was actually a big fan. Yuki Fujikage. As Naruto smiled at that, it was time to rescue the princess and claim her. as Naruto was gonna go the same place, where Asuma and his team would be going, along with Kakashi and the others, and they would see each other. Things was surely about to get messy. But guys, if you end subscribe right here, if you want to see next parts and do, like, subscribe, comment down below and turn on the bell notifications stay posted. Remember share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode over in Making 3 of What If Naruto Was a Perfect Experiment, and enjoy that guys. And remember for you to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you, so yeah, without further ado, what do you say? We get the hell out of here. See you guys soon. Peace out.